All right, hello and welcome to YakShaver Sprint 53 review. We are going to store this video in our YakShaver YouTube channel like we always do. So if you want to watch it, feel free to listen along with us. So our plan was to get end-to-end testing done again, which was the same as our sprint goal last sprint, and it didn't happen then and it didn't happen now. I'm starting to worry about it a little bit. We need to get this sorted for NDC. It's our primary goal. We are super close, but you know, you're always sitting at 99%, right? So we want to get this over the line. We did do a few things differently.
End-to-end testing, is that?
Sorry, end-to-end testing of a non-SSW tenant. So being able to basically spin up a new tenant and have it fully work.
I think you should put it there.
Yeah, fair enough. So of an external tenant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. By the way, as part, the guys have been very focused on the technical aspects of this, but not necessarily on the user experience. So we have just created a new spike today to investigate what the user experience should be for that process as well. Because at the moment, we're not including payment in that process. It's just a case of some way of them saying to us, I'd like a tenant, and us setting them up with a free tenant for a short period of time. And that's not a BYO API key. That's a free tenant that we are paying for. So we will have expenditure from SSW on this. All right. I don't know why some of these are bold. All right. These are the people who worked on this sprint. So Lewis and Stephen were full-time. Hajir was mostly full-time. Tom a bit less. Rick a lot less. And Josh a little bit. Caleb's on the call because he's joining us for the next sprint and possibly moving forward, which is great because we have quite a lot of website work to do, and he'll be good to have on board.
Who assigned Caleb to your team?
Oh, that's a good question. Don't know. Anyone know?
I asked Yuli about it because I heard that Josh was short-staffed, and then I asked Matt about it if it would be good for me to do once we'd finished the NDC website audit. And the NDC website audit just needs an email checked from Matt, which I'm hoping to do this afternoon.
All right, that's not how we switch teams. It's via the Benchmasters.
Yep.
So you need to speak to Callum and Jeffrey and Brady.
Okay.
Cool. All right, let me switch to GitHub to go through what we did this last sprint because it's a better experience. But okay, so going from the top here, the YakShaver wizard is having basically when you are a new tenant, you go through a wizard process. Guys, do you know if that has been gotten to the point now where it works every time, or is it still showing the wizard every time you go to the portal?
So it checks whether you have Entra ID integrated into for your tenant. If it hasn't, it will keep running the wizard until you set it up. Right. That's what it is at the moment.
So if I go to the wizard now, if I try and sign in. Oh, good. Okay, so this was causing a problem before where it would always go to the wizard whether or not I had already done it. So that's great. That's fixed. Remove unnecessary.
Just a tiny thing.
Yeah.
Just on the left nav, I just saw that UI. Please check it against the eagle eye left nav. You'll see that just the font size and the spacing is better on that one. And also you've got a bit of an alignment issue with the last three integrations projects users. Going
inwards, going left a bit.
Yeah, it should be further in. Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's quickly YakShave that. Give me a second.
Sorry, I think the designers already created a new design. We just have to implement it.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're just that's waiting. Okay, I won't share that then.
Thank you, Hajir.
Hi, Hajir, by the way.
Hi.
Thanks for joining. Okay, cool. So removing unnecessary instructions from the prompt in transaction details. Basically, there was some stuff that wasn't using structured JSON mode, so it was pulling back a whole bunch of extra tokens and blah, blah, which was unnecessary. So that's been implemented. GitHub connection status and documentation link. Adam, this was one that you asked for, which is why it has a double star. So if we open it up, you wanted to be able to see the GitHub connection status on the interface. If I scroll down here, you can see this is where it shows. We did find that even after you're connected, it still says not connected. Lewis, have you made you said you made a note for that. Was that making a PBI or something?
So yeah, I was going to talk to Rick and get more information. Maybe he would know a solution and then create a PBI.
Okay. All right. Cool. Don't forget on that one.
Yeah.
So
honestly, I wouldn't have put it there if that was discovered during testing. Yeah, there's no point putting it there if it's just not working properly.
Yeah, I mean, it does connect. It seems to work. It's just a UI problem in the card, I think. But yeah, we found that out in the sprint review. So just
right,
FYI.
but who did the code for that?
Lewis.
Me.
And who did you get to test it?
I tested it on my own side.
Okay,
You can't test your own stuff.
Yes,
Bastard.
no developer can test their own stuff. You need to ping somebody else on the team or off the team and say test please. And if that person, if Haji gives you a test pass, then it's his. Then it's his testing. Yeah, but you can't test yourself.
Yeah.
So make sure we have a PBI for that, by the way, for fixing that up. Next one is the database provisioning. We're using an elastic pool of databases, which allows us to spin up, I think, 10 databases ahead of time and then just allocate them to new tenants as they come in. This was a big domino that we were waiting to fall down before we could do the end-to-end testing. So now that this is done, that is going to enable us to do the end-to-end testing. So that's just done today, I think. There was a problem with the URL. Actually, there were two problems with the URL. Sometimes it just wouldn't think that it was able to get a URL for a screenshot, even though it was. That's been fixed. And the other one, Lewis, remind me?
That was the backlog URL. Was it that one? That's in review. It's not.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, cool. So next one, Adam, this came from you as well. I think you somehow recorded without your mic working once and you wanted something to happen. FYI, I asked for them to basically bug out when this happens because they can't create anything useful. They don't even know which project to put it against. So there's no point in making a blank PBI because you wouldn't even know where to make a blank PBI. Basically, the AI has zero context. So you might as well just re-record the video.
Right. Okay. Funny story. I was using the iPad and just wasn't working like it usually does.
Yeah.
And I recorded with TJ, an MVP, and it came through, and I thought I'd give him. I quickly glanced at it. I gave it to him, and he quickly looked at it, and he goes, "Yeah, it looks pretty good." And then later on, I'm reading the words, and I'm thinking this actually doesn't say very much. It looks perfect. It's not saying very much, and then I realized, oh, hang on, the recording's empty. Like there's no sound. And then I got him to read it and goes, oh my God, I got tricked as well. Like it read so good with all these words. And then I realized it wasn't even.
How is that possible? If it had zero context, like it's just all it would have had was a screenshot. That's it.
It had the URL, didn't it?
Yeah, screenshot and URL. That's it.
Yeah, well, it worked out a few cool things to say.
That's kind of cool. All right. So Teams app, there was a problem with the API for the Teams app. The Teams app needs to be able to be installed. We've been talking with the sysadmins to make sure that works fine. This is a misleading title. This was just about cancellation of a work item verbally. When you're halfway through shaving your yak and you say, oh no, I forgot, actually, I don't need this, cancel. We just made the UI a bit clearer what's going on. So if you say, no, I don't want to cancel, keep going, it now says resuming, as opposed to just giving you lots of confusing messages one after the other. I've got a screenshot in here. Show you what I mean. Here we go. So now it says resuming processing, rather than just having lots of video received, shaving yak, video received, shaving yak. So you can see that that's kind of the same thing as opposed to two different things. This is another one of your double bugs. This was a duplicate of the same one, so that's marked as done as well. I think implementing. Oh, so this we now have an automatic email using something called resend that gets triggered when a new tenant is created to welcome them and tell them, welcome to YakShaver and give them some instructions and whatnot. That was done with Louis, I think. So backend, get sysadmin privileges for SharePoint and perform test upload. This is for the try it now functionality. We needed to use SharePoint because SharePoint doesn't have any kind of rate limits on how many videos can be uploaded to the channel in a day. You could have unlimited videos uploaded, whereas YouTube can only have a maximum of 100 with a verified channel. So if this got popular, it wouldn't work. So we had to set up a SharePoint space for that. And consider creating database schema. Oh, okay, this is a big one. Honestly, I don't really fully understand it. Stephen, let me try and explain it, but you fill in any gaps, okay? Basically, I believe Stephen did a big refactor across a lot of different files, something like 1,600 lines of code or something crazy like that, to allow us to know more about where each work item gets up to in the process. So I believe this is going to later be used for things like a progress bar in the sorry, I've got someone knocking heavily on the front door. Give me 2 seconds. It's the children. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yes. Yeah, we'll have a progress bar on the Chrome extension, which will allow us to know, like when they do the try it now, they'll be able to say, oh, well, we can see how far along the process a video is, because at the moment there is a one up to maybe 1 to 2 minutes of delay before the work item's created, so it kind of fills the space. Short term, that's not going to happen. We're just going to have a loading thing, but in the back end, in the what's it called? In the portal, we will have good stats on where videos got up to, which ones were made, what happened to them, all that kind of stuff. Is that right, Stephen?
Yeah, just add on that for future use, this data can be also used to retrigger some problem that got stuck in the middle, and also have more status for leaderboard.
Okay, cool, excellent. So that's everything that was worked on this sprint. Any questions on those PBIs?
No, it looks very good and lots of stuff done. It's great.
Okay, cool. So going back to the email, so you can see the other stats. We're on 25. We've gone down slightly on our code coverage by 0.5%. We only did 1 production release. We would have done another one today, but we've hit some kind of GitHub Actions limit. We're rate limited on that. Mish apparently is going to help us with that, but also tomorrow is April and we're in a new month and we will be unlimited again. So it's a temporary problem. Right, I see. I've never heard of that, by the way. I've never come across that problem before. Yeah, there's a limit on actions. It's on build, something to do with the build. Yeah, there's a lot of processing. They can't let people just build anything they want. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Errors were mostly just 404s and 403s, so nothing urgent. Leaderboard, interesting item in the leaderboard is that Isaac has done 21 shaves this month, which is great. We have a new convert, obviously. Very good. That's amazing. And most importantly, of course, I'm still beating you by 2 shaves. That's the real takeaway here. Right. King YakShaver. So in the roadmap, we have made some progress in Try It Now. This actually was taken slightly before this is actually sitting at 20 because the database thing is done. Call that 95. That's 5%. We're almost there, but realistically, there's going to be more in getting ready. For instance, all the whole UX side of how the process of getting someone there, hasn't even been looked at. It's all been the technical side. What else interesting? So the guys are using AI tools, obviously. Stephen added GitHub Copilot to his list today, which is interesting. Callum, do you have any comments on that?
Looks like no one is using Gemini, the latest Gemini model, which is available in Cursor.
With the Cursor, do you want to know which model they're using?
Looks like they've written Cursor dash.
That's the model, right? Okay.
Yeah. Heads up, Hajir wasn't actually in this meeting today, so this was last week for him. Oh well, it should be this. It should be Strike. So have you changed anything, Hajir, or are you still using Claude?
Still using Claude. Pretty
good. Gemini 2.5 Pro is available in Cursor now, just in case you want it.
Sure, we'll give it a shot.
Cool. All right, so main retro notes were. So Stephen says, video process now stored in the database. We can provide more detailed usage stats and error logs for dashboard and leaderboard, which is cool. We had some difficult conversations around pricing and how we're going to price it. That was Adam. I still need to take you through it in detail, but I'm pretty happy with what we came up with. And the guys are working on some of those pages, just the structure of those pages at the moment.
Just quickly, without knowing what it is, can a company buy one license for a developer and then many developers use it?
Yes. So yeah, the concept, the way we've set it up is that basically you purchase it for the whole organization, and then anyone in the org can use it.
Sorry, I think you misunderstood. If it's by user,
It's not by user.
Right. Okay. A company could buy one and then have a whole bunch of developers just use it under that account.
Yeah. So you purchase basically a bucket of shaves, and a bucket of shaves is not a term that people like, but yeah, you purchase a number of credits per month, and you can set, if you're working out how much you think you're going to be using, you can increase that number of credits, or you can get a recharge for your number of credits if you run out. The free one is quite credit limited. You can't do that many in a month. The paid one's more permissive.
Right. But by the way, I prefer the term bucket of shaves. I think it's friendly.
Yeah, the thing is with bucket of shaves, once you know it, it makes sense. But when you're first trying to grok what you're looking at, it's confusing. But we did say what did we say? One shave equals one credit or something like that, or one credit equals one workout. I'm not sure. We could use the word shave more. It's good to have some UX love, from Betty and Ken and with Josh and Caleb now as well. The whole thing about being no audio is no longer a problem, as in we air out gracefully. Now I mentioned I'm nervous that multiple weeks have gone by and we still haven't done end-to-end testing of a new tenant, so I thought I'd mention that. And we know about the staging problem. I've just put this isn't realistic. I've just put the order of like my care factors. So, if for whenever the guys are picking up a PBI, ideally it should be on that or that or that for now until those are done, and then that or that after that. But to try and make sure if we run out of time, we've got that working, then we've got that working, then we've got that working, etc.
Okay. Now, for me, I don't care if the licensing isn't done. All I really want is the people can try it for free. Like that's important.
Well, that's partially this and partially this. They are two different things, though.
Okay,
this is the
clear,
full experience.
I would like them to be able to create their user or create their tenant, and then start using it for free. Of course, we will have to stop them once they've hit a whole bunch, but it would be probably very easy to say once you've hit 50, we stop you. Like without a lot of code. I don't want you to try to implement all this. So you sign up, you choose your license, and then you are able to, take payment and then use it. I just want people to be able to just try it for free up to a certain number.
Yeah. So just that's kind of what this is. So new tenant will, with a bit of clunkiness, allow us to set someone up with a new tenant, but it won't be a graceful through the website kind of thing yet.
Right. Okay. All right.
Which is a worry because we need that. That's kind of more what this is. This is the graceful setting yourself up with a free tenant through the website, in a way that's more scalable.
Yeah, I think I'd take away that BYO API. Like, obviously we need it, but we don't need it initially.
Well, what you're talking about is kind of this. So that's already kind of covered.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But who's focusing on that?
This is Rick was the bottleneck for it last week. But Tom also, because he's working on the portal as well, which is part of it.
Yep.
And so the guys generally, a lot of this is Hajir.
Right. Okay. I would definitely say everybody should be working on the new tenant. If Rick and Tom don't need any help, that's another story. But if they need help, we should be swarming on that one.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. Cool. All right, let's move on to our planning for this next week. I'll show you here. Zoom out a little bit. Is this still okay? You can see this? I can zoom in more if you want. Okay, so this is new. This is ready UI. It's not even just UI, it's the whole thing, I suppose. But basically, we want to say, right, at NDC or after NDC, how does someone actually set up a new tenant? What's the path via the website to do that? As opposed to just the technical back end that it can be done. How do they do it? We found out that the what's it called? Chrome extension requires a privacy policy, so we need to set that up. By the way, there will be a delay while Chrome figures out whether or not they want to approve our extension or not. And without that, we can't do try now. So that's why this is in a bit of a rush. So we're making changes to the dashboard. We are making a lot of changes to the website. Yeah, the client portal. So the authentication for the client portal, there is a discussion that needs to be had, because at the moment, the only way to set up YakShaver and use YakShaver is with full sysadmin permissions to your Entra ID. Like just a curious dev on the side can't do it without corporate buy-in and without the sysadmin buy-in. That is potentially a problem. We need to figure out how to get around that, or whether we lean into that and say, hey, business owners, you're the ones who we're aiming for to buy this thing. Because it can be used organization-wide, that is a potential thing. So this is just a spike to figure out how we're going to end up doing payment.
I think I would park that for the time being. I know it's only
sorry. The reason for that was apparently if we don't know how we're vaguely going to do it, then we might end up building the rest of it the wrong way. So this was something that Tom said. I'm not fast necessarily if you want to park it, but they said that we should know what we're going to be doing, even if we're not doing it yet.
You should, but I just think it's not needed before NDC.
Yeah, I'll drag it later. If we get to it, we get to it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do that later. So this was the one you've been asking for, which is that the video should have a link to the PBI in the video itself. Fixed missing duration metadata for uploaded videos.
Can we move that one up a touch?
This one?
Yeah.
This is a different order. Oh, okay. This is the actual order. I don't know why the other one was in a different order. Where was the one you wanted? This one, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So sorry, I don't know why that was in a funny order. Investigating the happy path we talked about, that's already pending release, which is why it's at the top. So the portal needs to be able to handle nicknames and GitHub usernames so that it's actually useful. We have to, as I said, we have to change from YouTube to SharePoint as the default location, because otherwise it's not scalable. Then end-to-end testing of the new tenant, super important. We've got to get there. It's been the sprint goal for 3 sprints. We've got to get there this sprint. So the Chrome browser extension we've been talking about, which is why we need the privacy policy. At the moment, the email notifications that come from Azure DevOps look like this. SSW.YakShaver.app.production mentioned you, which is gross. So that needs to just be YakShaver or SSW.YakShaver.
Yeah.
So that's a sysadmin thing. There's a problem. So when you make a PBI and it sends it as an email, you can convert it to a work item, but there's a problem with that at the moment. So we're fixing that. We just talked about putting the link to the PBI in the video. These are all changes to the website. So now we've got Caleb, we pulled in a bunch. Yeah, so more stuff for the portal. This is the payment options. I'll pull that lower. Oh shit, no, still in the sprint. So the duration metadata is missing. These are just a few little bugs that we found, basically nothing major. We're going from on and off to on and always ask. That's a pretty easy one. It's just changing the text, so it shouldn't be hard. Trying to get full structured output in JSON mode, so we don't, at the moment it's wasting a lot of tokens and causes occasional errors.
That one, on and always ask, that's important to move up much higher. It's very small, but it's visible. And if anybody, like, let's just say Mish records a video, she would want it to be, updated in the UI before recording.
Sure. Okay. No worries. I'll put that up higher. Cool. And that's, I think, the end of our sprint.
All right. Can I just ask, did we get anywhere on the Discord stuff? mesh.
In what sense, Adam?
There was a task to get Discord in Sugar Learning, so everybody that joins gets it. Just joins the Discord for YakShaver and says hello, same as Tina.
I don't remember that task, but I can add it as a task. We've been doing the task you gave us was to do the Tina Discords every day, so we've been doing that.
Yes, it was to do the Tina one, and then there were some other ones to do with making YakShaver the same as Tina.
Yes, so you asked us to do it daily and write down what we're doing, which we've been capturing, so that we can do the same for YakShaver as well as Tina. That was the task you gave us. So that's what we've been doing.
Right. Okay. All right. All right. You can double check what I'm saying with whoever was on the call with Brooke and Jack and others.
Yeah. So you're tasking us with a second task to get
just
Discord
the same
in
stuff
Sugar
that I gave
Learning,
you before.
or
Yeah, it was the same stuff as before. But yes, it is another task, but it was all what I covered before. But if it's unclear, maybe it was unclear. Maybe they missed it as well.
Yeah, no one had mentioned that the whole week we've been working together. So
Okay. All right.
we must have either it wasn't communicated correctly, or we all missed it, or it stayed in your head.
No, it was definitely communicated. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get that. I'll put a task in to get that on the Sugar Learning.
Okay.
All right, guys. So these videos going to be up in the usual spot. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right.